So how did we get here? How did we end up with this building, working 6 days a week with bees? It has never been a conscious decision. It's been an evolution. So
Sure.
along the way, I suppose I was interested in getting bees maybe 20 years ago. And my husband, Serge, he had bees when he was young. And it was also his summer job. In the holidays, he used to go and tend bees. So he's always had an interest too. But I tend to swell up when I get bitten, and my daughter's anaphylactic. So we never actually got the bees. We just talked about it a bit, and it never actually happened. And when we moved up to Coffs Coast in 2015, I bought some native bees. So that was the first time that we'd got bees, because I thought, look, my daughter's not going to die. I'm not going to swell up. It's all good. It's
also,
all
is
safe.
it different between native bees and, let's say, like
Yes.
regular honeybees?
Yes. So the native bees that you get in a hive don't sting. Though having said that, this is another weird thing. There's 2,000 different native bees, and a lot of them sting. But there's a group of native bees called stingless native bees, and there's about 12 species of those. And those tend to be the ones that people keep in a hive. They're not the solitary ones, they're the social ones that produce honey and live in a little, I suppose, family unit.
Sure.
So we got those. But within about 12 months, Serge had got his first hives up here. So that would have been 2016. And he found some really good hives that he liked that were poly hives. And our business sort of grew from there, where he would buy a few poly hives or buy a batch of them and on-sell them from our garage. So it was sort of a little home business. And then that grew to the point where we got a storage container and just kept selling. And about 5 years ago, or 4.5 years ago, we just thought, look, we need more space. We've got customers who are ringing us. At that point, we didn't have a shop front. It was just telephone calls. People were saying, oh, can we get some hives from you or some gear? And we just had one supplier at that point. And so 4.5 years ago, we started to look for warehouse space. We were just thinking a basic warehouse. And I was thinking it would probably take, if I wanted to help my husband, it would probably be half a day a week. And we found this block, which is beautiful. It's got, you can see we've got trees and bush and paper bark. It's a beautiful spot for people to come and experience and to see bees firsthand.
And was Woolgoolga always the place that you were thinking of, or you were just driving around looking for the place that could...
Woolgoolga was close to where we lived, so it seemed to make sense. And our first storage container was up in Woolgoolga. So we'd got used to driving up to this industrial estate and seeing our customers up here. So this just made sense. And so we found this property and we built it from there. And it's almost become a destination now, where people come to learn about native bees and European bees and to see the range of products. And I should say, one of the drivers for us was that Serge, when he was buying gear, would buy online, and then when he'd get it, he'd be disappointed it wasn't what he wanted, or it took too long to come. So we wanted to create a space where people could see a full range of products. And we talk about the pros and cons of each one. I feel that being honest about a product is what sets us apart from just being an online business. People want to be able to talk to someone and find out how different pieces of equipment work and what the benefits and the disbenefits of each thing is. And part of my background years ago was as an environmental educator, and I feel like I'm still in that role here. I'd rather say to someone, this piece of kit doesn't suit you from what you've said, don't buy this. It's just not you.
For sure, for sure. So it's the education part that you think it became quite important, right? So your customers can understand how to use the equipment, understand the bees and their behavior, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I often talk people out of buying something. They might come in thinking that they want a particular piece of equipment, and when we pull apart why they think they're going to use it and what for, it turns out that isn't the piece of equipment they need. They might not need anything. So to me, I'd rather lose a sale but build a relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Because you know that person then, to me, having a retail shop like this isn't about what we sell, it's about the trust in the information we give.
Sure. Especially in a small community like this, I think it's important to build that relationship. So then we see people, you know, they do talk.
Yes.
And they will recommend you and your place to someone else straight away, you know, if they have a good experience and better understanding.
And a lot of that's been lost with doing everything online. You lose that relationship. And unfortunately, there's so much stuff online now with minimal costs to ship. But a lot of it isn't particularly good quality. And you...
Is this something you guys do though as well? Is this something you try to obviously, you know, have that online space for people to be able to purchase as well?
We do. Yeah. Our online offering isn't as good as it should be, but I've found that over time a lot of people will ring me directly and say, you know, I want this, and can you post it out to me? So at the moment, sitting in my car is 3 bits of kit. One that's going to the post office, and tomorrow I just happen to be driving down the coast. Yeah. And I've got customers who know that I'm going on that trip, and I'll call in at the various locations on the highway and drop stuff off. So often postal service becomes very personalised as well, where people will ring up and will, you know,
more like a personal delivery as well. Whenever you can deliver the kit and help it, maybe put it together and, you know, educate the customer.
Yes. Yeah. So a lot of the stuff too, when people buy things, Serge in particular will show people how to assemble, or the best way to put together a wooden box. So and we run a series of educational sessions, and most of the ones about the European beekeeping are free sessions. We'd rather people who are interested in beekeeping get in fully aware of the time and the commitment and the work that's involved.
So with the European bees, obviously being European, have they been brought by an accident to Australia, or was that always a plan?
They were consciously brought, I think, 202 years ago. Right. So there were various trials at introduction, but it was 202 years ago that they arrived in Australia. And
this was purely for agricultural reasons?
And honey. And agricultural pollination. So although we have native bees, they don't pollinate all of the European crops. They pollinate some, but not all. So at the moment, European pollinators pollinate a lot of our food. The European bee pollinates a lot of our food.
Sure. And especially with this area around here, with all the berries and bananas being grown, is that a big impact on the industry as well?
It is. So a lot of the berry growers need to talk to beekeepers and hire in bees, or become beekeepers themselves and get bees.
Is that who you work with on that kind of scale when you have this big commercial farms? Is that something you guys do as well when you work with these farms by supplying the equipment or perhaps educating the farmers?
We do a little bit of that. We find a lot of the farmers go straight to the bigger commercial beekeepers and get them to come on a hire arrangement.
And set it up.
But having said that, lately we've had quite a few berry farmers who want to become beekeepers themselves, and we work with them to start to help them scale up and understand what's involved.
Yeah, right, okay.
And often we'll recommend a local commercial guy to come and help them and mentor them. So actually going out, we don't have enough time anymore to do a lot of in the field work. So we have our own hives that we manage. We've only got probably 20 or 30 hives of our own. So in terms of the hives we keep, we'd still be considered to be recreational.
Right.
But it gives us a chance to trial all different equipment and approaches. We have all the different hives that we sell operating, which allows us to speak with authority, to be able to say, yeah, this one's great, but it sweats. This one's wonderful, but
right, yeah.
it rots.
So every hive and every piece of equipment for a different reason, I guess, and why someone getting it. And
yes.
Yeah.
And some things suit different people for different reasons.
For sure. Yeah.
So sometimes it's about the weight. We might have an older woman come in, for example, convinced that she needs a 10-frame full depth box, and you sort of explain that's going to be 35 kilos to lift. Can you do that?
Sure. Yeah.
Are you better to go with an 8-frame hive and perhaps go to a half depth? So we try to customize. So often people will say, do you have a beginner's package? And I don't have a beginner's package in terms of the gear, because I think everything needs to be customized to the individual person's needs based on their strength, their environment, their level of involvement.
That's right. Yeah.
So I'd rather get to know my customers and understand and be best positioned to help them.
And that's the part of creating that relationship with them as well.
Yeah.
Better understanding.
And that's why we have a bricks and mortar shop. We're just not an online business.
That's right. Yeah.
So there's a lot of people that have online shops that really have no interest in bees, no interest in their customer. They just see it as a market opportunity to import
that's right.
product and to ship it out.
Yeah. And you've mentioned, obviously, you have quite a lot, like a few events happening in here.
Yes.
The workshops. What kind of events? What's happening right now?
We're coming to the end of our year. This gets into the busy season for bees. So the last event that we have is this Saturday, and we have a commercial beekeeper who is a lovely friend of ours, Glenn Locke, who does Mount Caramba apiculture, and he's going to come and do an afternoon session on Saturday focusing on pests and diseases. So he's worked through the year on a series of different talks about getting your bees ready for winter or starting out in bees. So a whole lot of different topics. We find breaking it up into little bite-sized chunks is better than for us, and we think for our customers than
for sure than getting lots of information at once, straight away.
So it becomes a bit of a drip feed.
Yeah, and candle making as well?
Yeah, we do candle making as well. So I did candle, and that's my speciality. I love the things that you make from the hive. I tend to be the person who bottles the honey. I clean the wax and make the candles, and I love the fact that beeswax, it's totally natural. It's not shipped in, and the number of steps involved to refine it, it's very simple. All it really is heat and washing. So you melt it, you might strain it through some muslin until you get this beautiful golden beeswax.
And it's healthy.
And it's healthy.
Purifies the air.
It purifies the air. It does all these really good things. And I only do workshops 2 or 3 times a year in candle making.
Yeah.
And I'll do several workshops in a row in those sessions. And it's just lovely. We set up a big marquee out here in the garden, and I put on my big wax boiler. It's really a lovely day.
It's so much fun.
Everybody really enjoys it.
Yeah.
Well, we're coming to the end of our 4th year here.
Right.
And we've just slowly evolved what we're doing. Next year, I would like to see our website and our online platform improved.
Yeah.
I would like to actually start to do some newsletters. We do social media at the moment. Instagram is probably our our strongest way of communicating with people at the moment. It's a more interactive, relatable way, but it would be good to use some other avenues. I've got quite a big mailing database. I'd like to actually start to send
utilize
out
that, yeah, for
some
sure.
newsletters to the public and talk about what we're doing, and a little bit of information about bees. I'd love to be able to, my dream is to build a large outdoor classroom area here with a covered roof. So at the moment, and it's mainly about me. At the moment, I have to put up marquees for our events, and I'm getting too old for putting up marquees.
Yeah. So more of a permanent setup where you can have people. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, just an outdoor, big covered pergola area.
Sure.
Where, you know, if it's raining or anything, we can at least get under cover.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. So what else do I see coming in the next year or two?
Are you happy where you are here in this space, and you think you'll be staying here, or do you think maybe it's time to look for something bigger, or you're like, okay, we're fine here for another, let's say?
I think this is a perfect space.
Yeah.
The fact that we've got all this bush in a commercial area is really quite extraordinary, and everyone who comes in is just blown away. We had a theft of a whole lot of our native bees.
That happened recently, right?
Earlier in the year, yes.
Earlier in the year, yeah.
So I think maybe 300 or 400 native hives have been stolen across this area. So there's some black market happening, I think.
Beehive black market, yeah. I'm just thinking, who? Like, why? You know?
Somebody wants the pollinators.
Yeah.
But I'd like to, one of the other things I want to do is to actually get my native beehives back happening here on site.
Yeah, of course.
So we just have to look more at security.
Yeah. And in regards to if I'm a customer, I've never been to Woolgoolga, what's the best way to find the place, or the best way to get in touch with you, or your husband, and I want to come in and chat? Is there obviously the website, but as well as
website? We're open here Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 5:30, and we're open Saturday 9 till 1.
Nice. Yeah.
Give us a call. Using the telephone is the best. I just don't know my number.
Yeah.
I can tell you my number. Okay. Do you want a number?
Yeah, we can put up a number.
Okay.
Yeah.
So call us on, and I'm going to have to look.
Yeah.
0447 308 906. On Eventbrite, we have a site too that will show you all the different events that we're having through the year. And very soon I'll be doing next year's program up. And I want to work more with some local businesses this year on events around some key days, World Bee Day, Pollinator Week, and try to get some more activities going.
Beautiful, awesome. Thank you very much, Judith.
Thank
you for having us. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.